than it wanted this man. His name is Viktor Bout. And he's
Yo,
known
get off his dick, dude. Yeah, get off his dick. They're riding him so hard.
Known as the Merchant of Death. U.S. government officials say Bout became the world's most notorious arms dealer by fueling civil wars around the world. Courted by drug lords and dictators, the U.S. saw him as a threat because of his ability to arm terrorists targeting the United States. A former Russian military officer, Bout has been protected by powerful friends.
Wait, what did they say? He sold arms to like the enemies. Oh, terrorists.
Terrorists, yeah.
Again, literally cutting into the CIA market. Like this man went to jail for cutting into CIA's market.
Former Russian military officer, Bout has been protected by powerful friends and long considered untouchable by law enforcement. But 3 years ago, the DEA devised a bold undercover operation to capture him. This past week, they brought him to New York to face terrorism charges.
Okay, he was skinny. He was skinny in prison.
There's a fat photo. So they just they gave him a big T-shirt.
I think he was.
When they walked
No, his face looked fatter.
I think he
there
was
was a fat photo of him.
I think. Well, I think
Tonight,
he was maybe
those at the
fat
heart
back
of
in the day.
Operation Relentless,
Ukrainians,
a sting that spanned
Russians,
3 continents,
like,
tell the
have-
story.
He's Tajik.
No
He's
matter what we
Tajik. Don't
do.
take that away from him.
Well, the same idea. Like there are
It's half Tajik.
a lot of peoples in the world have fat faces, no matter what.
That's true.
And he's one of us.
He had a fat belly as well. I saw it.
Behind it,
an older guy.
for the
Bro, he literally looks like he'd be related to Boy Boy. This is your uncle, dog. Yeah. Oh my
You
God.
are him.
Oh my!
You are him. What the fuck?
Wait, you look exactly the same as this.
What
man.
the
I mean, I'm Tajik.
fuck? Bro, that shit's crazy.
Have you ever loaded up a prop plan?
No, not yet.
You would be
I
good at-
mean,
you would be good at it.
my shot at it was when he was in prison. Now it's just like there's already one out there. Like it's
You went to an arms dealer convention.
that's
I'm
true.
so sick and tired of the fat shaming. Come on.
I'm doing the opposite of fat shaming.
I wasn't fat shaming. I just said he was fat. Is that fat shaming?
Maybe,
I don't know.
dude.
Don't worry about it.
Victor Bout, in my
Boot,
eyes,
boy.
is one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
on the face of the earth. Mike Braun, the former chief of operations.
I
for
love
the
when
US
they hype the wins up. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, he's one of the most dangerous.
Enforcement
Vets love
Administration
doing that. Whenever
told
they,
us Bout first
grab a bunch of
exploded.
pills, they're like, "This is enough fentanyl to kill 90 million people if they all took it."
I mean, it's the same with like whenever they like execute. They hit like the execution button on yet another like CIA asset ISIS guy.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, this guy is the leader of ISIS L. And you guys don't even know. Like he is, many people were saying he's the most powerful ISIS guy yet. And it's like, dude, nobody knew about this guy. You invented the guy yourself. You trained the guy. You hit the you knew exactly where he was the entire time. You saw approval ratings diminishing or whatever, and you hit, or maybe like a trade deal you didn't like, and you hit the fucking execution button, and now you're making it seem like he's the biggest guy on the
I think
planet.
It's kind of cruel to hype him up after he's dead. Like he won't hear any of these compliments.
Yeah, they should do it like the WWE, where you hype him up before, you create a villain, and then they come in and they take him out.
But then I think like then they would notice the pattern, like, oh shit, they're talking about me on TV. What the fuck? Oh no.
That's Vic in like the 80s, right?
Yeah. He's not that fat.
No, he's just like beefy there.
No, he's not fat though.
He's just beefy.
Here, she kneeled during the Laverne Spicer. Brittney Griner better stand at attention with her hand over her heart every time she hears that anthem now. If she kneels ever again, she should be sent right back to Russia.
How would that work? Like she kneels again and Biden like calls Putin and he's like, look, I know we did like a whole thing where I gave you a guy and you gave me her, but like she actually kneeled again. Can you put her in prison forever?
She's just so dramatic, Putin. I just can't handle it.
No. You can still keep Viktor Bout, but like no, we're
just gonna give her back.
We just put her in prison forever.
Yeah, you can
please.
have her.
Exploded on the scene in war-torn West Africa in the late 1980s.
Yeah,
Elevating
that guy-
bloody
that guy looks
conflicts
like a
from
Keith
machetes
Fuller
and
cosplayer.
single-shot rifles to
AK-47s, not by the thousands, but by the
No,
tens
it's
of
off.
thousands.
Team kill is off, dude.
Civil war in Africa.
He transformed these young adolescent warriors into insidious, mindless,
trained them as
maniacally
well?
driven killing machines that operated with assembly line efficiencies.
Okay, wait.
What?
Hold up. He said he took these young adolescent warriors and made them killing machines. What were they before?
Just what?
They were
No,
adolescent warriors.
No, they were just like, they were enthusiastic, but they weren't good enough. And he gave them the skills to achieve their dreams, as a matter of
We
fact.
just saw footage of them shooting guns. They were not very
No.
skilled.
They were
He was
not
running
good
across
at
the
all.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a brutal assembly line. Like, this guy was not ready for prime time. This fat. Like, there was a whole thing at the office, like, who's going to go on TV and talk about the Viktor Bout arrest. And he's like, I've been in this office since 91. You have to let me do it. And he went on there, and they probably never let him go on TV again.
Yeah,
Because
they're like,
he
you really
did-
fucked it up, dude.
You suck, man. No one cares about you.
Now 43, Bout from the Soviet Republic of Tajikistan is a mystery man who reportedly served in the Soviet Air Force and intelligence service. The U.S. has indicted him on 4 terror-related charges, including conspiracy to kill Americans.
What makes him a threat to the United States?
He's
What?
a shadow facilitator. He's arming not only designated terrorist groups, insurgent groups, but
Wait,
he's
is that
also
because
He's like-
Americans are stationed all around the world? Is that
Yeah.
what he's talking about?
Yeah, but also, but like, I'm telling you, like, they're just mad that, you know, he was giving guns to the Taliban after, like, it was no. It was not fashionable to do so because, like, they had already given all the guns to the Taliban. So now they were fighting the Taliban and they were like, oh, you can't do that. And he's like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. Sorry, guys. Like, there was another article I remember, like, pulling up yesterday. I think in, like, 2008, they were using his, like, using his lines in Iraq. Like, they were using his...
What does it take to make this route? Do you just have to, like, chat to a lot of people? Like, what are his skills? He's just making friends in Iraq?
Maybe he walks it himself first.
No, he owned a fleet of, like, Antonov 12s.
That's sick.
That's what it was. He was
It's
just
really
like...
fucking cool.
So yeah, he was just like flying them. They used his planes to fly U.S. missions. Like, of course they did, because he was, again, working with the CIA.
He probably
arming
worked with
very
everyone.
powerful
Yeah.
A guy
drug
like that.
trafficking cartels
Yeah, of course.
around the globe.
Taking advantage of Russian military contacts at the highest levels and the collapse of the
Bro, you're defending this guy? I mean, I don't really give a shit. Ultimately, like, he's just another arms dealer.
Soviet Union. Federal
I love
prosecutors
anything
allege
about,
Bout
like,
essentially
the collapse
became
of
a...
the USSR and all the bad things that happened after, and like, how could you let this guy sell this military surplus? Like, we didn't help that happen.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't like create that chaos.
Yeah, look, fake friends, bro. Look, arrested arms dealer planes flew U.S. missions in Iraq. Bout was an international fugitive when his planes were used by the U.S. Fake friends, dog. They literally used them and abused them. And then they were like, yo, you fucking suck. He also fueled civil wars in Africa. No, he didn't. He armed literally both sides of every fucking conflict, just like the CIA was doing.
But it's nice. I think it's kind of heartwarming to see these, like, ma and pa, like, small-scale arms businesses going up against the big corporations.
big
like,
corporations.
yeah.
Paul Wolfowitz says, we conducted business with companies that in turn subcontracted work to second-tier providers who leased aircrafts owned by companies associated with Mr. Bout. That is one long way of saying we work with Viktor Bout.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it. Like,
They would have
at the
known
time,
what he's doing.
Yeah, at the time, Bout was already a wanted international fugitive. They knew he was a wanted international fugitive, and they still were like, you know, they were still using him. They were still working with him. He was one of the greatest threats to the U.S. Interest in the same league as Al-Qaeda kingpin Osama bin Laden. Interpol has issued a warrant for his arrest. The United Nations Security Council have restricted his travel, but that didn't stop the U.S. government contractors from paying Bout control firms roughly $60 million to fly supplies into Iraq in support of the U.S. war effort.
Wait, Osama bin Laden would have been a good trade for Griner because he could probably play basketball.
That's true. He is like
Great
6'7". He is 6'7". He wasted all that height, bro. He was tall for no fucking reason. You know what I mean? Bout's pilots millions of dollars in free airplane fuel while they were flying the U.S. supply flights. From 2003 through at least 2005, Pentagon contractors used air cargo companies known to be connected to Bout to fly an estimated 1,000 supply trips into and out of Iraq. Every single person that's saying, like, oh, man, this guy is such a fucking asshole. He's such a piece of shit. I can't believe Viktor Bout, whatever. Like, I can't believe we gave him up. Or I can't believe we, like, let him walk free. He's going to kill Americans. if the media had written an article saying he's actually a fucking patriot and like he's like a little bit anti-Russia or something, you would be singing the exact opposite tune right now. Okay, it's just a matter of like which levers they're pulling and pushing to make you motivated to feel a certain way about this. Okay,
I really do wonder though. Like, okay, I don't think he's gonna go back into business in the exact same way, and like obviously, him selling a few odd small arms or even like anti-air missiles isn't going to turn the tide in Ukraine. But like the reason you use a guy like this is to like arm proxies, like to arm people you can't be seen arming yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do wonder like what direction Russia would want to go in with him. Like who would they have him arm to like maybe indirectly help the war effort? I don't know. I would love to be in that locker room right now.
I think
see what their idea to turn around is.
I personally thought they were going to do a Marina Butina type thing where they just like, do a lot of positive press for him and then they put him in the fucking Duma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I thought personally. But maybe he just like, maybe he has contacts still. Ukraine is literally a incredible opportunity for any arms dealer to just like go in there who knows what the fuck they're doing. To just go in there and take every gun you possibly can and sell it to anyone on the planet.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, regardless if he's going there on, like, official business for the Russian government or not, there is going to be, like, he is going to be able to buy, like, anti-tank missiles for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
He's going to have a great time there.
He said, wait, this guy said, you can't be mad a murderer got released because there are other murderers. First of all, what the fuck? Who is this guy murdered? You don't know anything you're talking about. Yeah, he was an arms dealer in the same way that like every other fucking, in the same way that Raytheon is dealing arms and at a much higher capacity, okay? This guy was like selling fucking old like decommissioned, or not decommissioned, but like old Soviet weapons to just whoever the fuck was buying it. Yeah, they're all murderers.
Yeah.
I agree.
Do you realize that he is Eskimo Brothers with Tom Brady in a fictional sense? Not really.
Oh, and,
because in the movie, fake Viktor Bout marries Bridget Moynihan, and Bridget Moynihan was Tom Brady's first wife.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Or she was his girlfriend, and they had a kid together. So like they're like spiritually Eskimo Brothers, though not really. And you don't see people calling for Tom Brady to be put in prison.
No.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I am on board. We should put Tom Brady in prison. Actually, I like how it's supplying countries with weapons when the U.S. does it, but it's arms dealing when others do it. Yeah, exactly. It's literally the same shit. They all suck. Fuck's sake, dude, you're doing dumbass backwards Ukraine takes again. No, I'm not. I think it's fucking complete. First of all, I have not said anything about Ukraine other than that.
Oh, we talked about Lord of War.
There's a lot of weapons there that you can sell. But
they did make him Ukrainian.
Yeah. Big L for him.
But I guess like it'll be hard to get Nicolas Cage as a cheap star.
They do so much funny stuff in that movie. Like I would love to ask him about that movie. Like I want to interview him. I think I would do the best job interviewing him.
Who, Cage or Boot?
Well, Boot. Well, either.
Nicolas Cage is great.
I love Nicolas Cage, obviously, but like I want to talk to Boot about that movie.
By the way, Boot is ethnically Ukrainian as well, for the record.
I thought it was Belarusian and Tajik.
I think he's like half Tajik, half like ethnically Ukrainian.
That movie does make him like seem like a nerd though, because it's like he sees the mob boss get killed in Brighton Beach, and he's like, "Whoa, I could sell those."
Yeah,
like that's how he gets the idea.
Yeah. That's not how that started. He never lived in Brighton Beach.
Like that.
Yeah, that's not real. But as far as wait, what is this? A long prison term still awaits, however. On March 12th, Boot, who turned 45 not long ago, will receive a sentence of between 25 years and life. They will try to lock me up for life, Boot told me. But I'll get back to Russia. I don't know when, but I'm still young. Your empire will collapse, and I'll get out of here. Okay,
that's cold.
That's way sicker than Nicolas Cage.
That's cold.
What the fuck? That's boss as fuck. He's right too. He got out.
Is this man immortal? He's an immortal arms dealer that just wanders around the world forever.
Respect, dude. They're just posting his dubs now. Yeah. Conservatives have resorted to posting Viktor Bout dubs on the timeline.
I don't understand why he's so keen on Russia. Like, why do they like him? Isn't he just like a entrepreneur, arms dealer, runs around the world selling things? Like,
I mean, I think he was like
Probably pretty useful.
no,
to, like anyone, you know.
he is like a contractor in a similar capacity to like what America does when they're selling. When they use him, sometimes literally,
Right.
it's the same shit. He probably like is selling, surplus Soviet era weapons and even like defense systems and stuff to people that Russia would consider to be good to have, good to arm against like the CIA or whatever in like an African nation. You know what I mean? It's like that.
I don't look, here's like my line on him. I don't think he's a good guy, like
No,
really not.
yeah.
But he's said some really cool shit. And he has like 50 kill streak gunships from COD. He like wakes up like he got 20 kills in a team deathmatch game. He's said and done some pretty cool shit. Some of it bad, but you have to admit that.
Yeah, and he's got a cool mustache.
And he just looks really chill in prison as well.
He did look like he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He had the
Yeah.
double lean going the whole time.
From 2003 to at least 2005, Pentagon used his airships, his planes, whatever. He met with Mullah Omar in Afghanistan, but he denied he ever did business with the Taliban. I had no
Why
relation.
did he meet with Mullah Omar then? That's
yeah.
just he wanted to meet him.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a social visit.
Even with all the power of the American administration, CIA, FBI, and all means and satellites in this, they were not able to come back with a certain proof that they could answer, he said in choppy English. It's very easy to blame somebody without coming with proper documents, without coming with a proof of what they are trying to say or trying to blame. That doesn't sound choppy. It sounds pretty clear.
He's better at English than I'm at Russian, that's for sure.
Yeah, he referred to the allegations that he's involved in U.S. supply missions in Iraq as very funny. While he denied trading arms, he did say that his planes might have carried weapons without his knowledge.
He was denying it still?
Yeah, boss man,
There's a
dude.
movie about him and he's still like, no.
Yeah.
Did he craft his own defense?
Let's then ask Moscow taxi drivers where they ever had transported criminals or somebody related to the criminal network. He said, I'm a transporter. What we did.
So he's
we
not
did.
an arms dealer. He's just like he's an international taxi driver.
No, he is definitely, yeah.
I think that's his defense.
Yeah.
He
Like,
looks
that's,
like a taxi driver.
He does.
kind of does.
Bout's work first in Iraq became public in a May 2004 article in the Financial Times newspaper. Like, this stuff is not, Kremlin propaganda, chat, okay? For those of you who are like, oh, this is what the Russians are saying, like, no, man, he's a teamster. Yeah, exactly. CIA officials in Washington secretly warned colleagues in Baghdad of the ties in fall 2003. The authors report it would appear that it did not make its way to the correct folks. The two writers quote an unnamed CIA official as saying, "No, it did. They knew and they didn't care." I don't understand this. Make no mistake, chatters. The CIA does not give a fuck. They will literally work with anyone and everyone. They will work with communists if they think that that's like adequate. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
One-stop shop, offering an unlimited supply of stockpiled Cold War weapons to bad guys around the world, including Charles Taylor of Liberia, who's now on trial. for
Oh,
war
he
crimes.
gave to Charles
According to
Taylor.
the-
Holy
That was the
shit.
big thing in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Charles Taylor is a cannibal one, right? Wasn't he a cannibal?
I don't think he was a cannibal.
He was just a child.
Wasn't that General Butt Naked?
No, there's a bunch of... Wait, did Charles Taylor never do that? Am I being racist? I'm
I
sorry.
don't think Charles Taylor did that.
president? Ah, good on him.
Wait, hold on.
The philosopher? Really?
Yeah.
It'd be funny if the philosopher was
needed
a
a lot.
cannibal, but not the warlord.
Oh, he ordered... Sorry, he only
Okay.
ordered
That's not the
cannibalism.
same thing.
He didn't actually do the cannibalism himself.
That's so much worse than doing cannibalism. You're making someone else eat the meat.
But also, why would you not try it then?
Yeah, if I had the
Come on.
opportunity.
You've already
Yeah.
crossed the line morally.
He ordered his militias to eat the flesh of captured enemies and UN soldiers. Yeah, General Butt Naked did. He did the consumption of human flesh, and then wait, isn't General Butt Naked reformed now or something? He's like a Christian.
He says
Still out
he's like
there.
born again. Yeah.
He's like a born again Christian now, which is like almost as weird as being a cannibal warlord. I think.
He's kept his nose.
Is there? I don't really understand the taboo on cannibalism in war. It's just like it's like being an organ donor. You're just like you're already dead.
But
Like, what?
the death is the worst part.
That's the
No,
bad
but
part.
it's like pushing a moral boundary. That's what it is. It's like desecrating a corpse, defiling a corpse. That's what it is.
I think shooting a hole into someone with a gun is like the desecration in my mind.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, but like, I don't know how to describe it.
It's like, I think it's more for people like who are in the military or like constantly involved in war. They need these lines established. So it's like, okay, well, I'm like constantly at war, but I'm not doing that. I'm not desecrating a corpse. I'm not like eating a guy's heart.
Yeah.
Even though like,
it makes those guys sleep at night.
Yeah.
If I get killed, I want to be eaten.
Yeah.
I want it to look like a video game death where someone rips out my heart and goes.
Yeah, we should do a video.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, kill you.
If I died, I would like my death to like, I don't know, save a pig's life.
Yeah.
If it's like they eat my dead body instead of a pig's.
That's beautiful.
I don't know. Yeah.
Eating meat, cow, chicken is just as bad, for your information.
Is that Austin?
That is,
I love
that's
vegans,
Morrissey.
dude. Vegans are so fucking fire. Like, they will say the most unhinged shit in any given moment.
Eats a chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's a news story in vegan land. How about all the chickens that Charles Taylor ate? Okay, you never see articles about that. That's really fucked up too. Okay, it's to the same way, actually, in the same exact way that it's fucked up. Oh man. Okay, let's get back to
The
his
U.S.
dubs.
indictment, Bout had a unique selling point when it came to weapons trafficking. A fleet of cargo airplanes capable of transporting weapons and military equipment anytime, anywhere.
Wait, is that a unique
More than
selling point, or
60
is that just
planes
the
in
bare
all.
minimum of
His own
transporting
private air force.
weapons?
Those Russian aircraft were
He has a lot of
built
planes,
like
yeah.
flying dump trucks.
He
He
does
could
seem
move
to be
this
like
stuff and drop
a
it
better
with pinpoint
logistical
accuracy
operator
to any desert, to any.
Bro, it literally feels like they're jealous. Like when they talk about him, they're like, bro, he could just drop shit. He could drop ship fucking AK-47s like no one else, okay? I mean, pinpoint accuracy.
That is the look of an impressed man.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's
this guy
glazing
is
him,
God.
dude.
Yeah.
He was so good, we used him.
Jungle to any other remote place in the world, right into the hands of what I refer to as the potpourri of global scum.
The potpourri of global scum.
Isn't that a good thing? Isn't potpourri like fancy and fragrant? And
No, dude, but they're human scum. He added
Bout
it.
was a legend in the shadowy world of
working on
illicit
all these
arms
lines.
dealing.
Okay, yeah, he's
So-
chubby there.
yeah,
Yeah, he was.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was eating that good caviar.
Gain weight on
Bout said
force
that the
sometimes.
only two pictures that surfaced of him back then were taken without Bout's knowledge by a Belgian photographer.
Oh, that's fucked
Later,
up.
Bout became the inspiration behind the Nicolas Cage character in the movie Lord of War.
I was an equal opportunity merchant of death. I supplied every army but the Salvation Army.
U.S. Treasury documents
Oh, they didn't show Ronald Reagan's face being shot at. That's such a fun moment from that movie.
That is an enjoyable movie.
It's a great movie. We just started rewatching it last night. We'll probably finish it tonight.
reveal a Bout empire so sophisticated, so complex, hidden behind a thick curtain of front companies, that even the U.S. government unwittingly contracted with two of his companies to deliver supplies to U.S. troops in Iraq. Juan Zarate, Deputy National Security Advisor in the second Bush White House, and a CBS News consultant.
They're just mad they couldn't sell to them first. Like, that's literally it. They were like, oh, man, it was really fucked up when he sold to Charles Taylor instead of us selling to Charles Taylor directly, cutting out the competition.
I love how they have like this guy, Juan Zarate, who is like an NSC guy and now a CBS News consultant. And they're like, what good luck that is that we actually have the guy who accidentally hired Victor right here.
Yeah.
Who's going to explain how it was a complete accident.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Told us hiring Bout was a mistake.
This was one of the grave.
Like, that guy is Viktor Bout. Like,
exactly.
that guy hires Viktor Bout. If you think Viktor Bout, like, running around free is like a genuine threat to society, what the fuck do you make of this? He probably has a better track record than Viktor Bout. To be honest, he worked for America. He's the #1 arms dealer.
Okay, yeah, well, he has a better track record with a super team.
Yeah.
Let's see him start.
Yeah.
Let's see him get it out of the
He said
mud.
Mickey Mouse rings, dude.
He has fake rings. He couldn't even win a ring in Syria.
Yeah. He said those rings are fake. Oh my
It's a
God.
super team. Oh wow, I can traffic weapons with the richest and like biggest military in the world. Of
Wow.
course you can.
I mean, it's just like That's the thing that breaks my brain, where I'm like, oh, Hasan, I can't believe you're like promoting this guy. It seems like it's like we're fucking around. We don't give a shit. Like, that's the point. Yeah. Especially because like that guy is the same, but you think he's a hero. Okay, that's the difference. Same shit.
Complications for the United States. Viktor Bout's tentacles reached so far and so deep that he had access to planes that could provide services for the U.S. government.
Zarate admitted the U.S. could do business.
Why are they showing? Bro, stop. Bro, they're glazing him. They're like, dude, he's the GOAT. Also, you were right. He was a little chubby back then.
But he couldn't catch it.
I had always thought of Viktor Bout as untouchable. And I also, frankly, didn't think that anyone could get to him.
A challenge Zarate from the White House threw out at a meeting with Mike Braun and his DEA team.
They did not think that he was untouchable. I want to know what the real reason why they arrested him.
We'll find out in like 40 years.
Yeah, like, because he was never untouchable. He was working with American operatives, okay? He was also working with the CIA. So I wonder what was like the real motivation behind being like, we really need to grab this guy. Maybe like, I don't know, did Russia do something at the time or something? Or maybe he like fucked America over on a weapons deal or something, and they were like, you can't do that anymore.
Well, we were involved in a few like...
You see how hot he was in prison?
Oh, wow.
That is not him.
No, I don't think so.
That looks like a sex therapist. That
good.
looks like a sex therapist. In the world.
Michael Hudson doing fucking anti-boot propaganda here, okay, to combat. This is a both sides unbiased broadcast.
He could have went away over like a
it is him?
Syria thing.
That's amazing.
That is him.
He did grow the hair like that? Okay, that wasn't a good look for him.
What conditioner were they giving him?
Yeah, this is a good prison.
This is amazing.
It's weighing his hair down a lot.
Yeah, it's not.
And he looks young. How old is he?
He always looks young.
He knew he wasn't dying in American prison. I'll tell you that much. He was right. Okay, let's keep it going.
The DEA had just pulled off a string of extraordinarily successful captures of high-value terrorism targets around the world, like
That's
Afghan
like a fake
drug
Ethan
lords.
Klein.
DE agents live for the hunt.
You know the guy.
Mike, no one had even gotten a sniff on this guy.
Let me tell you something, Armin. When I'm sitting there next to Juan, and my guys are sitting across the table from him, the very best that our government's got to offer, and he tosses this out on the table, and I look him in the eyes, and they're looking back at me like, we'll do this. We can do this.
But it was about a 5% chance in the back of my mind. And so, I wish them...
Bro, this is literally, they're doing the same thing that they did with like the Osama raid, you know what I mean? Where they're like, dude, nobody knew where this guy was. I mean, it's just such a big coincidence that he was like right next to the fucking Pakistani, like, whatever, Annapolis.
No one thought the Harlem Globetrotters could win that game.
It's just like, oh, that's crazy. I'm sure you guys had no fucking idea that he was there, and you know.
It's not like we put on share my location on my cloud. We could text with him.
We had no idea how to get to this man, okay? Except for when we were working with him, in which case it was easy, and also when he was working with all of our other assets.
Do you think it hurts these guys a little bit to come onto the news and like talk down their capabilities? To be like, we're actually very bad at our jobs.
I think they're fucking nerds, and they love the camera, and they love the attention, and they love the possible subsequent like book deal that they could get or media opportunities that they get eventually. You know what I mean?
This guy does work for CBS. Like, he's a CBS news consultant. I can see Juan Zarate writing like a shitty book called like Decisions and Actions, a lifetime and a career in national security.
Viktor Bout was appearing offline on Discord at almost all times. We had no idea where he was. No, don't put that stink on him. He's not a groomer like that.
Do you reckon Bout got paid royalties at all for Lord of War?
No way.
No, they don't. I think there is like a court case. No, I think that makes it so, not just Viktor Bout, but like people that are criminals don't get any financial compensation from people using their shit.
So they just steal your story and say how bad you are, but then make a bunch of money off you.
Yeah.
Well, and I went back to the
He got the light skin stare.
White House.
What does that mean?
Mike Braun's thinking 95%.
No.
Okay? 5 and 95 make 100. He was going down. He was in our cross.
That was so cute. He said, "What does that mean?"
We're not from here. I don't
They're
know.
Australian.
Fucking 10 million second timeout for that chat.
Yeah, it's just.
Shut up. No.
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
No.
Okay. Like, here, listen. What is
And I went back to the White House.
Mike Braun's thinking 95%. Okay, 5 and 95 make 100. He was going down. He was in our crosshairs.
The DEA supervisor put in charge of the hunt for Viktor Bout was Louis Milioni.
We felt that we could create a scenario that would pull him in.
The plan was to pull Bout out of Moscow with a huge arms deal he couldn't refuse. To do that, the DEA hired an undercover agent to contact a trusted associate of Bout's named Andrew Smulyan. The DEA operative said he had a big business deal for Bout.
I'm thinking in terms of fishing here. It's almost like you've thrown the line in the water. There's a little bit of
I
bait.
wonder why he trusted the other guy so easily.
Sounds like the most made up
Weird,
one I've ever heard.
weird that like one of the greatest arms traffickers of all time was so quick to trust this guy. I wonder if they were, it almost feels like they just turned him on a dime.
This video, video is it's Fed's greatest hits because we've just met this new guy, the guy who is like in on the case to interact with him with Smulyan, and he goes, "We thought we could create a scenario." This is all just like lines that they've been practicing.
Yeah.
Best day of their life.
Yeah, it was
It's
awesome.
a business proposition, and you're waiting to see if anything comes back with a nibble.
We're really waiting to see what Smulyan says and what he says about Bout.
And that as it comes back, spoke to Boris, anything possible with farming equipment.
That's correct.
Boris was code for
He's so
Bout.
happy.
Farming equipment for weapons. That exchange
They
led to
cracked
the
it.
island of Curacao, a few hundred miles off the coast of Colombia.
Oh, that's where Stake.com is situated.
It was here that Bout's buddy,
The crypto casino, Stake.com. That's where their headquarters are in Curacao.
Curacao.
Yeah.
Andrew Smulyan, would first meet the two DEA undercover operatives posing as officials.
Yeah, they do
in
business out of like the coolest, like the most fun places. I feel like
It's
it's
like the
like
Netherlands.
Yeah, Cuba crossed with the Netherlands.
yeah.
Well, like, yeah, if you're an international arms dealer, you're not like you don't have to work in an office park in Maryland.
Yeah. Those guys do though.
Yeah,
That's the
they're
biggest L.
jealous. Yeah.
That's the biggest L for like the CIA guys. Like they all went to Yale. They all fucking had to like do the nerd shit. You know what I mean? Like they have to work in an office job in a fucking windowless office in like Langley in Virginia or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like it sucks. This guy's in fucking Curacao. Flying around.
His life is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you go
Colombian
back to
rebel
Russia?
terror.
It's like the
Yeah.
last place you'd want to be if you got used
Yeah.
to this shit.
Yeah. No, he's chilling.
Sochi.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful Sochi.
Tons of them are Mormon too because they learn languages for their mission. Yeah, I mean that is the CIA still like heavily Mormon? I feel like not
There are
any.
more Mormons than you would see in a norm. Like they're overrepresented. We'll say
The Latter-day Saints conspiracy. Felix doing the Mormon question. What is to be done with the Mormons
I think
in the
that
CIA?
that is a pretty easy riddle to solve, though. I mean, if it's like if they're still doing the thing like, oh, have you ever done drugs? If so, like
Yeah.
you can't join.
I don't even
It's gonna
think
be
they
easy
do
for
that
Mormons.
anymore. I don't think they like to at least to be like a defense contractor at a certain level. Like they just want to know if you have smoked weed.
Yeah.
And if you have, like, it's fine as long as like I think they ask you if you smoked weed, and they ask you if your family knows about it. So like they're trying to see if they can blackmail you.
That
basically.
would be so funny if you were the one CIA guy who got blackmailed because you smoked weed and your family didn't know.
Yeah.
You're like a 43-year-old man smoking the saddest pre-rolls ever.
Yeah.
And you're like, please don't tell my family I smoked Delta 8. You're like giving nuclear secrets. So your family doesn't find out about like you buying the CBD they advertise on Comtown.
Yeah, they don't really care about it as much anymore. They just want to know if you're lying about it or if your family knows about it, and like you could be compromised for it.
Terrorist group known as the FARC.
The two fake rebels, Eduardo and El Comandante, would say they want to buy millions of dollars worth of weapons to fight the Colombian army. And the U.S.
That's fucked
They
up.
flew him to Curacao to do this bit.
That's fucked up. So the FARC never actually was getting the anti-aircraft weapons?
Yeah, they never got them.
Oh, that's
why
a
they
big
lost.
L, dude. That's fucked up.
That's mean,
military
yeah.
pilots
Yeah.
protecting them.
Smulyan has to believe that Eduardo and El Comandante are real.
Right. If Smulyan doesn't believe it, we're done, and then we go home.
The meeting is about to take
Of course
place.
that he needs to believe it.
What's your temperature like?
Your heart rate is up a little bit, and
flirting
your
with us.
adrenaline's going up, your butterflies.
Emotions that
great
only
duo.
escalated when at this hotel in Curacao, the fake rebels tell Smulyan, Bout's buddy, they want to spend $12 million on everything from sniper rifles to surface-to-air missiles.
He bites off on it. In fact, he eats the whole thing whole. So it was very successful.
So successful,
I can't believe they flew this guy to Curacao to talk to the camera. This is like the biggest money laundering operation.
Oh, the 60 minutes overtime? It's overtime, baby. This is when the gloves are off. They go crazy with the
I
budget.
love how he's like at a fucking resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like on vacation.
He's
like,
drunk.
Yeah.
Like,
He's got the
Yeah.
best job in the world.
Good
He's
for
like-
him.
yeah,
My
he's
man
like-
wanted a vacation.
He's buzzed. He's at a resort. He's getting room service, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm like here where this took place. He met El Comandante."
Yeah.
Dude, such
The
a
man the
good job.
DEA believes is Bout.
2 weeks later, in another meeting, this time in Copenhagen, Smulyan told the DEA operatives that his Russian business partner really liked the deal.
Suspicious
And
the
then he
buildings
revealed
look
who
the
that
same.
man in
Yeah.
Moscow really is.
Do you know
I don't know about this, but someone said Curacao was a colony.
Is it actually?
Because the buildings look the same.
That would
I
make
assume.
sense. I don't know. One of them.
who this man is that we're getting the weapons from? This is Bout. B-O-U-T. He's wanted by the world. They call him the Merchant of Death.
B-O-U-T.
Yeah, he
He's
spelled
so
it out
red.
for him. We marveled that
what's your
Smulyan would do
temperature,
that, but it was just great evidence.
The DEA was in the game, but Bout was still
It's Dutch
safe and
overseas
secure in
territory,
Russia
officially Dutch
and
territory.
reluctant to
Oh,
leave. The DEA undercovers insisted they couldn't go to Moscow, but had to meet Bout to seal the deal.
And Bout's going to know that that's how these deals are going to work. Comandante.
Yeah, that was a big L for him. Like they did. Oh, we can't go to Moscow. Why not? The fuck? That's weird. You know, he should have never went to Thailand.
He's
That's
not
where
going to
he.
release
That's
these
where he lost
millions
the
of
plot.
dollars for these weapons to anybody until he at least shakes hands, talks, looks Bout in the eye, and then we can move on. That's how we countered, and Bout went for it.
Next stop, Romania, just 3 days later. The play was to entice Bout to Bucharest, claiming that's where the money was stashed to pay for the weapons. Bout said he'd come, but then he had trouble getting a visa. The case stalled. After 10 days of waiting for Bout, the top DEA agent made a gutsy call to walk away.
So you've been chasing this guy hard for 2 months. You're almost got him.
He's crying.
And you got to
What is
make the
happening?
decision to step away from the table.
If we were real, we wouldn't stay there forever. We're going to now step away and say, look, we need to take care of some other things, but it's time for us to leave.
The story will continue after
God
The
damn.
fact that Bout's
this.
dealing with this guy and didn't immediately clock it as a sting operation, like
Over the
proves
next
that they
2
were dealing
weeks,
with this.
Milioni came up with a new plan to
Yeah,
reel Bout
no,
in.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that is my point. Is that like if this guy is the greatest arms trafficker in history or whatever, like why the fuck do you think he wasn't suspicious that very clearly American federal agents were talking to him? Because he'd worked with them all the time. He didn't think that like the same guys would then turn on him and fucking lock him up in prison.
But
Which,
also, you can't say he's the best and then also say he struggled to get a visa in the same sentence.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean that's just Russian stuff. I gotta pee. You guys can keep playing it. These guys talk about Bout in the way that. Oh shit.
All right, this is gonna be complicated.
No.
I think it's just. Have you ever thought of getting like a bedpan for streaming?
What do you mean? Oh,
Yeah.
let's get a catheter. Is it catheter or?
Yeah, stream
Yeah,
this catheter.
Catheter is the thing that goes up the urethra.
Yeah. I've always wanted one of those.
For fun or for like?
Just for fun, you know.
It would suck
Stick
going.
it in there.
It would suck going in, but then once you have it in, it's like, wow, my life's like way more convenient.
Yeah.
I would kind of like that. There's no like, did this guy use an accent when he was on the phone with Bout? Because it's like he's has the most federal agent voice and way of
He really
talking
does.
ever.
Maybe he's good at accents. I don't know. If
I don't think so. I do not believe that.
I don't
feel
think
like
this-
you're
yeah.
right that he knew he was dealing with feds, so he was
Yeah.
like, okay, we're doing this again.
Yeah. What do you
Like,
want?
Every time this guy talks, he's like, we are in a scenario created to perpendiculate the avenue of attack.
Wait, that is not what TVs look like in 2010. What kind of technology are they using there?
Those are CRT TVs he has in there. I don't know. In 2010, it would make sense for a guy to still have that in his office if he's like a 50-year-old guy, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, presumably he's got like a VCR set up on one.
That's it. That's why.
Like, think about what a 10-year-old monitor would look like now. It would probably look like a shittier one of his.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah, 10 years ago,
I just moved in the new ones, and he's like, I don't want to throw them out. I'll just keep them here.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're like 50 in 2010, if you're born in 1960, it is like, well, I know how to use this.
Also, this could just be an entirely fake office they've set up just for this interview.
It is like the fact that there's just a big thing that says DEA makes it seem very fake.
Yeah.
Are you any good at reading chat and responding to what people say? I find this thing
Sometimes.
so hard to look at.
This one's tough. This one's very fast. Moves a lot. All right. All right, we did it.
We didn't even press play. We're that talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. You guys are fucking stalling like masters, dude. Good shit. Read this. Everyone's saying read this, and then they're throwing up the sussy.
The phony rebels told Bout they would be in Bangkok soon. Asked if he could get there. Bout agreed. The morning Bout arrived in Bangkok, the DEA and Thai police had gathered downtown, waiting for word from cops at the airport that the Merchant of Death had landed.
They call us in the room and they tell us that he's here.
What was the moment like there?
It was just unbelievable because we knew at that point, you know, you're kind of like holding on as you climb up the mountain at different points in the investigation. This was one where at that point I believed, and the other investigators believed, not only are we in the game, he shows up at this meeting, we've got him. He's going to be arrested.
Bout drove to this hotel and met the two fake arms buyers in a conference room on the 27th floor. Here, the DEA's undercover team told Bout they want his weapons to kill Americans.
Commandante and Eduardo made it very clear. He said, we're fighting against the United States. Bout responds and says, look, they're after me too. He said, but we are together in this. They are my enemy also. Eduardo and Commandante talk about how they want sniper sights for the rifles that they have so that they could, quote, start blowing the heads off American pilots.
Yeah.
Bout's response immediately.
They were shooting Americans in the cockpit like they're in Battlefield.
Yeah,
this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, they were like, we want a 360 no scope of like FaZe Clan, dude.
Dude, Victor, can you level up my DMR?
Yeah.
This is so fucking dumb.
Yeah,
if someone told you that, you would be like, yeah, fuck yeah.
You can do that.
Dude, that is cool.
Yeah, how are you able to do that? Tell me more. Oh, man.
He is. Yes.
Then the DEA said Bout jotted down on these pages what he intended to deliver for $12 million, including between 700 and 800 surface-to-air missiles.
5,000 AK-47s, anti-personnel mines, fragmentation grenades, armor-piercing rockets, money laundering services, and all within the context of speaking.
Damn, this was like a one-stop shop, dude. Everything from a fucking AK and like sights, all the way to money laundering operations. Like, this guy was kind of a legend. What a G.
About a shared ideology of communism and fighting against the Americans.
After 2 hours, one of the DEA
the biggest crime of all, communism. Like
the shared ideology of communism and fighting against Americans.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Everything
man.
this guy says is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's
he asked for a laser sight so he could identify Americans.
Yeah, do they have specific sites that show American?
Yeah.
Show American patriots, not the liberal ones. They didn't even want to kill the lefties.
Covers made a call, a signal it was time to move in. Within minutes, the Thai police and DEA agents burst into the room.
You see Bout across the far end of like a boardroom type table, standing up with his hands inside his briefcase. And they give him the command to put his hands up. And he hesitates. And they immediately focused in with their weapons and gave him the command again.
Are you thinking we've come all this way to see Viktor Bout shot by a Thai policeman?
The thought did cross my mind that something really bad is going to happen to him.
Yeah, no, don't worry. They're not American cops, okay? Yeah, no, they probably are not as quick on the trigger as our boys are, okay? Oh.
Right here. but then he complied.
It turned out there was no weapon in the briefcase.
looks like Mr.
The
Beast.
disarming of Viktor Bout was now official.
Eyes cuffed. He's taken into custody. Smalling's taken into custody.
Does Bout say anything?
The game is over, or something like that.
The game is over.
Right.
They
But
love
then
that.
a new
Not
game
say
began.
that. No.
Bout
fuck
became the
off.
center of a legal tug of war between the U.S. and Russia, which wanted him released back to Moscow. Bout said he only went to Thailand as a simple tourist, not an arms dealer. Bout and
That's
Russia.
a Paul Whelan ass response though.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just doing tourism in Thailand.
I came on my own plane.
Yeah.
I honestly think an old white dude doing tourism in Thailand is so much worse than an arms dealer.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true. Yeah.
That's a bad
You don't want to
cover
get
story.
caught. Yeah, you don't want to get caught with that. That stink on you.
Russians managed to delay his extradition to America for more than 2.5 years. But last Tuesday, after a sting that
always look
played
so
out on
chill?
3 continents, the
Such a
DEA
happy
finally
man.
got their man.
He does
They
have-
flew him to New York, where he pled not guilty to charges including conspiracy to kill Americans. When Bout rode under tight security in a convoy to jail in Manhattan, riding right along with him was Louis Milione.
This is the Lord of War, the Merchant of Death.
Dude, they make him so cool.
Right.
And you've got him in your hands.
Right, he's in custody. It's a great feeling. It's an absolutely great feeling.
Yeah, little did they know, ultimately they would have to trade that man for an un-American, anti-American WNBA player.
Who smokes
Oh
weed.
man,
Gross.
worst crime of all, really.
Yeah.
Honestly, she went to fucking Yodi land, dude. How dare you? You
She
cannot
brought the
do that.
Benjamin to
You
Russia.
cannot do that in
You can't
Russia.
bring the Benjamin.
Yeah.
So they kept saying it's illegal to kill Americans. So if America invades your country and you kill one of them, are you're doing something wrong?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to kill them. You just
My
have to
friend,
be like, come on.
let me tell you a little thing that goes beyond how illegal it is to kill Americans.
Yeah.
It's also illegal, according to U.S. law, to arrest Americans that are a part of like the DOD or even like any Americans whatsoever involved in like any invasions or any wars. There is a extradition treaty called. Well, not a treaty, but there's an extradition thing called, like, they call it the Invasion of the Hague Act, where America will put boots on the ground in the Hague and invade the Hague if anyone is ever extradited to the International Criminal Court, any, like, U.S. service member.
Well, it worked.
It would,
Yeah.
be, it would be funny if we just we did that and we just got washed by like the ICC bailiffs. Just get fucking destroyed.
Don't they use, like, bayonets and stuff, like the Vatican City police?
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny. But yeah, it's very cool. It's also crazy that Damian Luck hasn't ever said he was pressing the Benjamin button. Oh yeah, I mean, you know how an American Viktor Bout would be.
Yeah, I have the power of God.
What the?
I instantly knew a video. Classic Conor O'Malley. Conor O'Malley 2015 video.
That is a wild video. I didn't even know that was a thing. Oh, here. So my roommate posted August 2020 is coming true. I might not always be right, but at least I'm ahead of the curve to be useful. Okay, this guy's like hyping himself up.
my God.
Boot worked for the CIA via like I said this too. Like everyone knew that this was going to be the swap. Like the media was covering it. Boot worked for the CIA via proxies with CES and Dolphin Air in the UAE. You won't hear much of this in today's news. Moving weapons from the Northern Alliance in Afghanistan to UNITA in Angola. He was pretty much open for business. Boot pioneered the air bridge using stripped IL-76s and replaced the stodgy ship and ground connections normally used to move heavy weapons and ammo. Initially, he didn't buy the weapons. He was just moving them for the boss man. Victor's business partners in the Emiratis and his suppliers in Eastern Europe became the Amazon of Soviet weapons, even using airlines as cover to move gear to the Talibs. What does it mean, like Taliban?
He means Taliban, yeah. Well, Taliban, plural of students.
Yeah.
Sort of like anglicizing it.
Yeah. When Victor was set up in Thailand by the U.S. law enforcement, he left a huge logistics hole in the dark weapons business. We had problems with Timber Sycamore. The UAE had problems in Yemen. People like Mohammed Dalan were assigned by the UAE to fill the gap. At first, they used ghost ships